Hello, everybody. My name is Drew, and in this video, we're going to be focusing on how to manage your account and your users as an admin of a multi-user account. And so this will include things like how to add seats, how to add users, how to edit your existing users, how you can delete or pause your users, teams, so how to create and edit them, and also a walkthrough of your billing page. So definitely all things just a kind of account management from a billing standpoint, from a user management standpoint, things along those lines. Creating and sharing content with your teams, that's going to be done in a separate video. So look for that if that's what you're trying to do. So let's jump right into it. All right, so first of all, where does all of this stuff happen? You go into your sidebar, down in the bottom left corner, you see that gear icon for your settings. And then we're going to be spending all of our time here in that little account section where in that left sidebar where you see users, teams, and billing. So let's start off with users. So here we are in the users page. And first of all, you're able to see what your product is here. In this case, it's the communication CRM, our plan, which is the enterprise plan. And you can see how many users there are available, well, that are in the account rather. In this case, there's 2, and how many total seats you have available. So this is, if you're wondering how many users am I currently paying for and do I need to add more, this is where you'll find that answer. So if you're at capacity, in this case, it'd say 10 out of 10. And if I need to add an 11th team member, then I'm going to need to go over here to add seats. Now, because this is a dummy account right here, billing isn't technically set up there. So I'm not able to actually walk through that process here, but it's very linear. All you do is just hit add seats. It's going to ask you, how many seats do you want to add? And if we were going to go from 10 seats to 11, we'll just tell it 1 seat is what I need to add. It'll confirm what you're going to pay today, which will be prorated based on where you are in your current billing cycle. And so you'll be charged today, whatever that prorated amount is. It'll tell you before you process anything exactly what the charge is you can expect today. And it'll tell you what your billing, what your regular subscription amount will be going forward as well. So there shouldn't be any surprises there. Once you've added your additional seat, then you can go into the next step, which in this case is going to be add user. So I'm going to walk you through that right now. You click on add user. Now, by default, in your account, you might see this right here where it's going to already assume the domain of your account. It's going to assume that everybody you're adding is going to be from the same domain. In this case, we've got VipeCloud right here. Now, this can be turned off. So if you do actually work with people with different domains, then just send in a support ticket and we can help out there. So I'm going to put in the email. So also note that the system will assume, like I said, the rest of it being that domain. So we just put in whatever it is that goes before the @ symbol, and then we hit check email. So here we're going to put in the information of this new user who's going to be joining our team. Put in the first name, the last name, emails pre-filled, company is pre-filled. Need to put in their phone number. And it's optional if you want to put in any of this other stuff. You definitely don't need to put it in if it's not super important to you. But note that as an admin, if you put these things in, like for instance, their LinkedIn, that means that these will be user fields that are already filled out. So if you want to create, say, like an email template that automatically merges in the LinkedIn of every single person in your team, it's handy to put this stuff in there. Now is a great time as we're adding the user, but of course, it can be done after the fact too. Really important here, put in their time zone. Our system assumes the Pacific time zone. So if you are not in the Pacific time zone, then you'll definitely need to change this, because it will be important for anything as scheduled will be run off of whatever time zone is in here. It's going to force them to be a member tiered user when you are adding them. So in other words, not an admin. But if you do want this person to have admin privileges, you can change that later. Member level users are going to generally have limited scope into seeing the content of the CRM, to usually just being their content. But if you do want them to see more than just stuff that's theirs, that's where teams come in. So stay tuned, we'll be talking about them. If you have a texting account, you can then add a texting subscription at this time. You can add them to teams. We're going to go into more details in a minute, but as a part of adding the new user, you are able to add them to teams at this time. Office address, if you are sending mass emails, this is important because, as you can see right here, it's required for mass emails, not enforced by us, but rather it's an FCC rule. Now, if you as the admin already have an address, like an office address, you can then just use your own address details, and this will be thrown right in there. Otherwise, you can put in their personal or you can put in whatever their local address is right here. This is also important. When you are adding a new user, you'll have this option right here of deciding whether you send them the user activation email right away, like in other words, right when I hit this OK button, or you can send it to them later on. The reason why you might choose to not have it sent right away is because you might want to be able to create this user before you actually invite them. In other words, maybe you want to share content with them and build out their account a little bit before you invite them in. So in this case, I'm going to check that right there to not invite them. So there we go. Now we have 3 users in our account out of 10. And I can see this tab right here. Admins, we got the one admin, which is me. And we've got 2 member users here. So this is the one that I just added. At a glance, I'm able to see here that this one user right here is not on any teams. This one right here is on the sales team. And when I hover over these user rows, I can see a whole bunch of options here. So one of them is to edit the user info, which will just take us right back to where we were right here. So on an ongoing basis as an admin, if you need to modify anything here, that's how you can go about doing that. And you're in very familiar territory right here. There's also this admin automations button, which is something that if you haven't encountered this already in the system, then you can probably just ignore it. As you can see, like I have a sign up form, for instance, that automatically copies into any new user that I add to the system. And so this is showing me that that happened right there. But if it's not familiar to you, then you can safely ignore it. Also, this more button right here gives us a lot of options, like I can create a text subscription for this user. If they have a text subscription, I can give them some one-time text credits, like if they're running low on text credits. There's resend activation email. This is important because I just created this user without sending them that activation email. So they have no way of getting in and creating their own password to get going. But let's say I'm ready now to invite them in. This resend activation email is how I do that. And then I've got pause user. So this is useful if you need to put this user on the back burner and no longer be paying for that, or rather, yeah, if I don't want to be paying full price for this user to be in the system anymore, but I kind of just want to put them in the deep freezer, this is how I can do that. Pause user, it'll cost like $3 a month to just maintain this user as if they're active, but they just won't be able to send emails and things like that. So that's what this pause user is for. And then delete user is how I can make them completely inactive. So if I do that right there, we can see right here, it's going to give me a summary of everything that's in this user's account, like, or at least like the tallies of how much stuff is in there. And I can then confirm delete and decide whether or not I want them to receive an email confirmation that their account has been disabled. I'm going to turn that off, confirm delete. And now I can see that there's an inactive user right here. And I can see that they were deactivated on this day. And there's a reinstate button here too. So if I do want to bring this user back, I can hit reinstate. And it'll just confirm a couple of things really quickly. Like if I want to add them to Teams, and I can reinstate. There we go. Now they're back in the Members tab. So we've talked a little bit here about creating new users and how to edit them, how to manage them a little bit. Let's talk about teams, because teams are how you share content easily and in a very scalable way with your users. So that's right under here, under Teams in that left sidebar. And you can see right here in this account, I've created 2 different teams in a way that lots of people use this, use Teams, which is like different teams in the company. And so we've got, say, like a marketing team, sales team. And what this will do is it'll make it so that you can just create a new user and have them automatically just receive stuff that you have said in the system that you want everybody in these teams to have. Like maybe in the sales team, you want them to have access to frequently used email templates, or you might want them to have access to PDFs and Excel files that, again, are frequently used and shared by people that are in your sales team. And same goes for marketing or what have you. So we can create a new team by hitting this Add Team button and give it a name. Maybe we could say Management Team. We can add categories here, which is basically just like labeling different teams as like falling into different kinds of categories. Most people don't use this. And then here we decide what the visibility is of people in these teams. So it's all about just like privacy, and whether, if you don't want team members to be able to see other team members or their data, that this is how you can go about doing it. So it's pretty much insights that team members will have into who else is on that team. So for instance, we've got the allow members to see other members. So as you can see right here, if you are using, if a member of one of these teams is creating a sign-up form, they can decide if they want notifications to go to somebody else that is in the account, and this team would mean that they could see that, oh hey, I want to make sure this other sales rep gets a notification every single time somebody fills out this particular form. So that's what that checkbox would do. Allow members to see other members' data. So as you can see, filter views. So that could be like if you have a contact filter view, you can set it to be able to pull those rules across other people's contacts in the team. So if that's not something that you want these team members to be able to do, just leave that unchecked. And then allow members to share with team. This is the most commonly used attribute when creating a team. And so this would be that maybe somebody in marketing wants to be able to create an email template and then share it with everybody else in the marketing department. This is, you would check that if you want your members to be able to do this. So we're going to leave it like this right here. And then, by the way, if you were to uncheck all of these, the main reason for that is you want to be able to just, as an admin, share stuff with the team and kind of just leave it at that and not have the members of this team be able to gain any additional insights as a result of being on that team. So there we go. We have now created this new team. And as you can see, you're able to edit the team should you change your mind about anything that we just ran through right there. And of course, there is that trash can to delete the team if we want to do that. Now, how do we add members to the teams? Well, let's do that right now. So we're going to go into the sales team. We can see who's already on here. We can remove them if we want. We can search right here. Let's say we got a lot of people in our account and we don't want to visually search for somebody. You can just search right here. This add button will let me add people to the team that are not already on the team. We'll hit OK. And there we go. Now we have 2 members on this team. As you might have seen too before, people can be added to teams from the users page as well. And you can do this in a few different ways. You can do it just right here. When we're looking at users, we're looking at the table of who all is on here. We can just hit those little check boxes on the left side next to their names and then hit that selected button above and either add to teams or remove from teams. So we're going to add all of these people to the marketing team now too. And there we go. And of course, you can edit the teams that people are on directly from their user edit info page. If you click on that, scroll down to where you see the teams, and it's just kind of like tags. You can hit the little X next to the team to remove them and then hit OK to save. All right, so I think that covers teams, at least the basics of them. They're really powerful for sharing and for helping people to be able to collaborate. So it's definitely a valuable thing as a manager. But lastly, let's talk about the billing page right here. Now, again, like I said, this is a demo account, so it doesn't really have billing hooked up to it. So it's going to look a little bit different for you, but this should at least help give you the gist. So the top card right up here, this is exactly like what we saw on the users page. Basically a mirror image of it. So we've already really walked through that. Walking down here, we've got enhancements. So these are just additional enhancements that can be added to your account. Things like community. You know, if you use suites in our system for basically like building groups and teams and collaboration, stuff like that. Community add-ons can be added from here, and you can assign users their own community licenses basically from here. Now, marketing contacts. So if you are a big sender of emails and texts, marketing contacts, as you can see when we hover over this little eye icon, they're contacts that exist in contact lists and thus are used for mass communications. You'll see how many are in your account right here. And if you need to make any changes there, you can just hit this button right here to email support, or of course in the bottom right corner, you can message us through the messenger, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have and add additional marketing contacts to your account should you need that. And then also social network logins right here. Unless you are an agency doing social media management for a lot of clients, you probably aren't going to need to add this. But if you do have additional social logins that exceed like the number of users that you have, basically, then you might need to add this. And you can see right here, add logins. You just click on that, and you can handle the billing from there. If you need to remove stuff, just reach out to our support team. Again, like bottom right corner, send in a message to the support team, and we'll be happy to assist there. One thing we don't see here in my account is there's a change payment method button that I believe you'll see right around here, and you can change the card on file from there. And then you'll also see your payment history down here below as well. So any prorated charges that go through, you'll see here. You'll see your history of regular subscriptions there as well. And of course, if you have any billing questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer your questions. All right. Well, I think that about does it. I hope that this has been helpful, just walking through the kind of foundation of your CRM as an admin, building your teams, adding users, editing them, and managing your billing. So of course, if there's anything here that I didn't touch on and you have questions about, definitely reach out to our support team. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So thank you very much.